In this English lesson, I'd like to help you learn the English expression, my bad. In English, if I say my bad to someone, it's an informal way of saying I'm sorry, or an informal way of saying it's my fault. If I was to be walking through the kitchen and I accidentally stepped on Jen's toe, and if she said, ouch, you stepped on my toe, I would say, oh, sorry, my bad. So I guess I added sorry in front of it. You don't always have to add sorry. But when you say my bad to someone, you are admitting that you did something wrong, and you're kind of in an informal way apologizing to them. Let me think of another example. If I was driving a grocery cart in the grocery store and I accidentally bumped into someone in front of me, I could say, oh, sorry, my bad. I guess I do say sorry when I say my bad. It's probably because I'm Canadian. You don't have to say sorry in front of it. You can just say my bad. The second phrase I wanted to teach you today is the phrase from bad to worse. Sometimes in life, things don't go well, and then something even worse happens, and things go from bad to worse. A good example would be if you were driving your car and all of a sudden you got a flat tire, and while you were changing the flat tire, someone hit your car from behind. We would say that things went from bad to worse, okay? It was already bad enough that the tire on your car was flat. Now someone has hit you from behind, and now you have to get your car fixed as well. So in that situation, we would say that things went from bad to worse. So to review, if you say to someone, my bad, it's a very informal way of apologizing. If you say to someone, oh, my bad, you're basically saying, I'm sorry, or whatever just happened was my fault. But it's very informal. You would use it with friends and siblings, like people in your family. You probably wouldn't use it at work. And the phrase from bad to worse is something we use when something is already not going well and it starts to go even more badly. So things go from bad, like the situation where your tire was flat, to worse, the situation where, in addition to the tire being flat, someone has hit your car from behind. But hey, let's look at a comment. I almost said concept. Let's look at a comment from a previous video. This comment is from Azamjan, and Azamjan says, hey, how are you doing? I recently started following you, and the reason is you're concise and to the point. And my response was, thanks for noticing. I try to be as clear and concise as possible. So thank you, Azamjan, for that comment. And thank you for noticing that I do try my best to be as concise, which means use as few words as possible to explain something clearly. I try to usually define each of my phrases in less than a minute. I don't want these lessons to be super long. I don't want to do a 20-minute lesson where I only teach one or two phrases. I like to keep my videos, my English lessons, as concise as possible. So I only try to use as many words as I need to explain the current concept at hand, or the lesson, the topic of the lesson. I do that on my other channel as well. I've been trying to make sure that I don't make really, really long videos. I know that you are all very busy people. I don't want to make an extremely long video if I don't have to. So I try to be as clear and concise as possible. You might be wondering why I'm sitting outside without my gloves on, and I'm wondering the same thing. I'm going to put my hands in my pockets now because it's actually a little colder out here than I was expecting. I thought, oh, I'll just pop outside and make a short little English lesson for all of you. And now I'm sitting here and I'm freezing. Well, not freezing. It's just a little colder than I was expecting. Anyways, Bob the Canadian here. Hope you enjoyed this little lesson. I'll see you tomorrow with another one.